We'll begin this first example by starting a new file. Take the rectangle tool
and come on over into the screen. Remember, with the rectangle tool and with most tools in SketchUp, you want to click and release the mouse button to start drawing the rectangle. Move the mouse down and click again to set the rectangle. Once that rectangle is there, you can go ahead and type in a dimension for it. You can give it a dimension, maybe 20 feet, 30 feet, and hit enter. Remember to separate those dimensions with a comma. Pretty big rectangle here, so we can just go ahead and zoom out by rolling the scroll wheel backwards a little bit. And if you press and hold down on the center scroll wheel of your mouse, you can orbit around into 3D. So try to get a view kind of similar to what I've got here on the screen, with the blue axis pointing up and the red and green axes over to the right. Now with the rectangle tool again, up in the top right corner, you can click and release the mouse button, draw over and click and release the mouse button again. Go ahead and type in a dimension for this rectangle. We can type in 20 feet, 10 feet, and hit enter. Cool, so a couple of rectangles so far. Now we want to take the push-pull tool. With the push-pull tool, we can come over to that first rectangle. Again, click and release the mouse button to start push-pulling that rectangle up, and click again to set it down. We can type a dimension in for this. We could type in 10 feet and hit enter to pull that surface up 10 feet. Now with the push-pull tool, one cool feature is that if you double-click with the push-pull tool here with the second rectangle, you'll see it goes up the same distance and the same direction. Another option with push-pull is to tap the Control key on a PC or the Option key on a Mac, and you'll see a little plus symbol appear next to the push-pull cursor. That plus symbol indicates that we're going to make a copy here now with push-pull. And if you click and release the mouse button, you can pull that surface up. Again, type in a dimension. You can type in 10 feet and hit enter. You'll see something a little bit different this time. Last time when we were push-pulling, if I just go ahead and undo back here, a quick little Control Z or Apple Z. If I just click and release with push-pull normally, I'm either just pushing or pulling that surface. Hit escape to drop it back in place. If I hold down the Control key, or again the Option key on a Mac first, that plus symbol is going to let me make a copy of that surface as I push-pull it. So when I type in 10 feet, I've actually got, in some ways, kind of like a second story of the building here. I can take the eraser tool and erase that extra little vertical line that's there on the surface and orbit around. Look at what we've got so far. So a quick little two-story massing model with a little, I don't know, garage or something sticking out to the side. I'm going to go ahead and put a roof on this, show you a quick way to do that and be accurate. So we can take the tape measure tool. With the tape measure tool, when you click on it the very first time, you'll see that little plus symbol again. And that little plus symbol is a toggle. If you hit the Control key on a PC, you can turn it off, or if you hit the Option key on a Mac, you can turn it off, and then just hit the Control key or the Option key again to bring it back. With that plus symbol there, the tape measure tool is actually going to create a construction line, and construction lines are really useful when it comes to being accurate or specific about dimensions, that you know when you go in to draw something that you're drawing it accurately, and you have something as a guide, like a reference. So with that tape measure tool, go ahead and click on the top edge. You want to make sure that you're looking for that red on edge inference dot. So click on the edge, and then as you pull away from that edge with the tape measure tool, you'll see that you're actually drawing a construction line that's at the same orientation as that edge. We can type in a dimension here that's going to give us the roof thickness. We could just type in 10 and hit enter for 10 inches. The plus symbol still stays there attached to the tape measure tool, so we can come over to the vertical edge now in the front corner. Again, click and release the mouse button and come out in the red direction. Careful here, if you come over to the green direction, you'll see that you're actually kind of coming back away from the front of the building. We want to come out in the red direction, out from the side of the building, and type in a dimension here. The dimension this time is going to be for the overhang of the roof. So I'm going to type in 12 inches and hit enter. You can type in whatever you want here, and that's fine. So we've got the roof thickness and the roof overhang. Next up, we want to set the roof slope, and we can do that with a construction line using the protractor tool. The protractor tool is just underneath the tape measure tool. You want to be kind of careful here because the cursor for the protractor tool looks an awful lot like the cursor for the rotate tool. we're actually wanting the protractor tool here. So make sure you've got the protractor tool. And come over onto the model. The protractor tool, you'll notice, likes to sort of flip-flop around on the different surfaces here in the model. We've got green, blue, red. And in order to keep the protractor from flip-flopping around like that, you can hover over the front of the surface here where you see it highlighting green and hold down the Shift key on your keyboard. While you've got the Shift key held down, that protractor will stay aligned to the green direction. You can actually bring the cursor all the way up to where the two construction lines are intersecting with each other. You can kind of see them floating out here in space, intersecting with each other. So hover over the front surface, hold down Shift, come over to the intersection between the two construction lines, and in order to draw a construction line with the protractor tool, it's going to be 3 clicks. Click once for the center point, then move along the construction line, click a second time. You're going to want to let go of the Shift key here and then click a third time to set the construction line. Once it's set, you'll notice in the value control box that it's asking you for an angle for that construction line. You can either type in a degree value, you can type in 30 and hit enter for 30 degrees, or you could type in 20 and hit enter for 20 degrees. You can also type in an architectural slope notation. You can type in 2:12 and hit enter. Now, for those of you out there who aren't architects, by typing in 2 and 12, you're setting a slope, and that slope is going to be a rise of 2 and a run of 12. So up 2 and over 12. The resulting construction line will then be at a slope of 2:12. All right, so that all looks pretty good. And if we take the pencil tool here, we can go over to the midpoint of the front of the building, find the midpoint, see a light blue or cyan inference dot, click and release the mouse button, draw up to the construction line, then over to the intersection of those construction lines, down so you're in line with the top of the roof, and then back over. We'll get that surface to fill in. We've got a profile for half of the roof section. I'd like to go ahead and take that profile and send it all the way around the roof to get us a nice hip roof. So if we come over, one tool that's going to help us out with that is the Follow Me tool. The Follow Me tool is just underneath Push Pull. And if you click on the Follow Me tool, you can come over to the roof profile, click on the roof profile, and essentially say, hey, profile, follow me. And as you hover over these edges, you notice the cursor here is actually hovered over an edge. That edge highlights red. And you can continue to go from edge to edge to edge to edge until you get all the way back around to the beginning. When you get back around to the beginning, you'll notice that the profile just automatically kind of flips around at a 45-degree angle. You can click and set that profile down. Everything's going to merge up nicely. We've got a perfectly drawn hipped roof where all of the roof slopes are at a slope of 2 and 12.